Good morning, my dear friends. I'm Hoi Vo, and let me ask you something. How many times have you sat down, looked at your bank account, or maybe just looked around at your life, and quietly wondered, am I rich yet? Or maybe this one creeps in instead. Am I even trying hard enough to make money? Over the years, we're thousands of people, from young graduates full of dreams to those well into their lives still struggling with finances. I've heard these questions almost every single day. And you know what I've come to realize? The answer is never as simple as the number sitting in your bank account. Because if we define wealth by just how much money you've got, we're missing something far more important. Let's pause and think about that for a second. Have you ever met someone who seems to have it all, money, status, success, but carries this constant anxiety or an emptiness they can't explain? Or maybe you've seen someone who doesn't have much in terms of material wealth, but lives a life of peace, joy, and true contentment? That right there shows us something powerful. True wealth is a personal transformation. It's a journey of becoming. It's not just about piling up assets or chasing a number. It's not a final destination, like a treasure chest you unlock and say, "Okay, I'm done." No. Wealth is a beautiful blend of the right mindset, consistent daily habits, and a long-term vision for the life you truly want to create. Now imagine this, your financial life. It's a piece of art. And you are the artist. The painting you see in front of you today, or the masterpiece you want to create tomorrow, is the result of your intention, your discipline, and your clarity in each decision you make. Because let's be real, if an artist paints without direction, without practice, and without a clear vision of what they want to create, are they really going to produce something extraordinary? Well, your finances work the exact same way. And here's one of the biggest roadblocks I've seen, especially in people who are stuck in financial stress. They're not lazy. They're not incapable. Far from it. Most of them are brilliant, hardworking, and filled with potential. But here's the truth. They fear risk more than they desire success. Have you ever felt that before? That deep urge to change, to grow, to break free. But something vague, some quiet fear, holds you back? Fear of losing money. Fear of failing. Fear of being laughed at. Fear of not being good enough. We all face these invisible fears, what we often call the comfort zone. And sure, it sounds nice, comfort zone. But more often than not, it's the very place where your dreams quietly go to die. Let me tell you a little story. Back when I was younger, just out of college, I was drowning in student loans and stuck in a job that barely paid the bills. I had ideas. I had dreams. But the fear of doing it wrong, the fear of losing what little I had, always held me back. I'd watch others start businesses, invest, take big leaps, and I'd think to myself, "They're so brave. I could never do something like that." Then one day, a mentor told me something I'll never forget. "Hoi, growth only happens outside your comfort zone." That sentence echoed in my mind for weeks. I finally made the decision, I had to start. But start where, when I had no money and no experience? I started with the smallest things. Tiny steps. I took calculated risks, just small ones, the kind that wouldn't keep me up at night. Instead of throwing thousands into the stock market, I invested in myself. I bought a personal finance book. That was probably the first, big, investment I ever made in me. I signed up for a free online course in marketing. I spent my free evenings researching small business ideas. And you know what's amazing? Once I started taking action, even the smallest actions, I started building competence. Every time I finished a book, I felt a little smarter. Every time I completed a course, I felt more equipped. And out of that competence, something else started to grow, confidence. You see, action builds competence, and competence builds confidence. That's the antidote to fear. When you start to trust your abilities, fear loses its grip on you. You stop asking, "Should I quit?" and start asking, "What's next?" You stop getting paralyzed by negative thoughts, and start finding ways to push through them. So if you're feeling stuck in your comfort zone, remember this. The door to real wealth is always on the other side of fear. Are you ready to step through it? And hey, if you're just joining us, welcome. We've been talking about how fear and comfort zones hold us back from our biggest dreams. Now that you've built the courage to face those fears, let's dive into something even more foundational. A core piece of any kind of wealth building, the one thing that underlies it all. Your mindset. Did you know? For thousands of years, from ancient philosophers to modern scientists, everyone agrees on one thing. True wealth doesn't start outside of you. It starts inside you. In your thoughts. In your vision. And in the beliefs you hold most deeply. So let me ask you something. Are you holding on to negative beliefs about money? Now, maybe you're not out there saying, money is evil. But sometimes, we absorb limiting beliefs without even realizing it. From the things we heard growing up. From our environment. From the stories people told us. Have you ever heard things like, money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy. Or worse. I remember when I first started on this journey, I carried a lot of that baggage too. I grew up seeing people struggle for every penny. And often, stories about rich people were told in a negative light. So subconsciously, I had built this invisible wall inside me. Part of me wanted success. But another part felt uncomfortable with the idea of becoming wealthy. It was like trying to run a race while pressing the brakes. You just can't get anywhere like that. So the first breakthrough, and one of the most important ones, was this. I had to challenge and let go of the negative beliefs I'd been carrying about money. Ask yourself, what are those beliefs for you? Where did they come from? And most importantly, do they serve the future you want to build? If the answer is no, then it's time to replace them with empowering, positive beliefs. You need to believe that money is a tool, not a master. Money can build schools. It can feed families. It can fund dreams and change lives. Money isn't good or bad. It simply amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money will help you give more. If you're creative, money will help you innovate. And once you begin to shift those core beliefs, we can unlock another incredibly powerful tool. Something I teach all my students. Visualization. Visualizing yourself as wealthy, capable, and in control of your finances helps reprogram your subconscious. I know sounds like magic, right? But it's not. It's actually science. Your brain doesn't clearly distinguish between what you're imagining and what's actually happening. So when you visualize your success, when you see yourself living that dream life, owning that cozy home, paying for your kids' education, helping your family, feeling peace when you check your bank account, your brain starts to believe it's possible. And when the brain believes, it starts looking for ways to make it real. It notices things you never paid attention to. It opens your eyes to new paths, new people, new possibilities. Let me tell you about one of my students. Her name is Sarah. She's a single mom working a modest office job, paycheck to paycheck. When she came to me, she was stuck in a cycle of survival and totally hopeless about money. I gave her one simple exercise. Every morning, take 5 minutes. Close your eyes. And visualize the life she wanted to live 5 years from now. Not the life she was in, but the one she dreamed of. She imagined a warm little home. Money for her kids to go to school. Time to enjoy life and do what she loved. At first, Sarah laughed and said, I don't think this will actually work, hi. But she did it anyway. And then something amazing started to happen. She began to notice opportunities that had always been there, but she'd never seen them before. She realized she was actually pretty good at writing, so she started picking up freelance gigs in the evenings. She enrolled in a free online course about building a personal brand. She grew more confident at her day job and ended up getting promoted to a higher position. In less than 3 years, Sarah wasn't just able to save enough for a down payment on a cozy little house. She had also built a thriving freelance writing business that gave her a solid second stream of income. What changed? Was it some kind of magic? No. It was the power of mindset, vision, and belief. She allowed her subconscious to know what she wanted. And her subconscious got to work making it happen. Let me ask you, have you ever given up before you even started, just because of some old beliefs that were holding you back? If so, then today I challenge you. Take a moment, sit down, and ask yourself, what do I really believe about money? Then go one step further. Dare to visualize a financial life without limits. See yourself as someone who is wealthy, capable, and fully in control of your money. You'll be amazed at what starts to shift the moment you plant new, empowering beliefs in the garden of your mind. Because true prosperity? It always starts there. Now, in the last section, we talked about overcoming fear and building a wealthy mindset from the inside out. We explored the power of visualization and how your mind can be your greatest ally on the journey to financial transformation. But here's the thing. This journey? It's not always a solo one. No matter how strong your mindset is, no matter how clear your vision, there's something outside of you that can have a huge impact on your speed and your direction. And that is the people around you. Build a strong network. Who's around you? You've probably heard this quote. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Sounds simple, right? But let me tell you, after years of working with students across the US, I've seen it in action thousands of times. Think about it for a second. Who are the people you talk to most? What do you talk about? Are you having conversations about opportunities, business ideas, investing, self-growth? Or are you mostly hearing complaints about the economy, the government, how unfair life is? Or worse, gossip that adds zero value? No judgment here. But this is the truth. Your financial future is being shaped, right now, by the people you surround yourself with. When I was younger, I spent too much time in rooms where everyone had tiny dreams. Not small in worth, but small in vision. They spoke with limitation. They had a scarcity mindset. They didn't invest in their minds, their skills, or their future. They invested in distractions. And here's what I learned. If you stay in that environment long enough, that mindset becomes your default. It's like trying to run a marathon while wearing weights on your ankles. No matter how hard you try, it's exhausting, and you never break through. I still remember the exact moment things started to shift for me. I went to this small seminar, nothing fancy. But the people in that room? They thought completely differently. They weren't asking, how can I save $50? They were asking, how do I create an extra $500 a month? They weren't debating whether to cut out a daily latte. They were discussing how to build a business, expand their value, and invest in themselves so they could multiply their worth. Just being in that room stretched me. And I realized something powerful. Your future is not only shaped by your own mindset, but also by the mindset of the people you allow to influence you. The wrong circle will make you think success is luck. The right circle will remind you that success is built, step by step. The wrong crowd will laugh at your dreams. The right crowd will dare you to dream bigger. Sometimes the most expensive thing in your life isn't what you're spending money on. It's what your environment is quietly stealing from you, your belief, your ambition, and your courage. So let me ask you honestly. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? What do they value? What are they chasing? What do they normalize? Because odds are, you will rise, or fall, to the level of the circle you're in. Now I get it, sometimes the people you love the most are the ones with the smallest mindsets. I'm not telling you to cut off your family or ghost your friends. But I am telling you this. You have to limit their influence on your mindset. You don't have to shut people out completely. Just make sure your closest circle is full of people who talk about growth, not lack. People who ask, how? Not just, why? People who challenge you to rise, not keep you stuck. One of the best decisions I ever made? Joining a mastermind group. It wasn't cheap. It was uncomfortable at first. But it gave me everything I needed. Accountability. Fresh ideas. Quality relationships. a higher standard of what's possible. Every conversation sharpened me. Every success story inspired me. Every result became a mirror showing me what's truly achievable. So if you feel stuck right now, check your circle. Audit the voices around you. And if you don't have like-minded people nearby, turn to books. Let the wisdom of great thinkers fill your mind. Join an online community. Listen to podcasts from people who are 5 years ahead of you. You don't need perfect mentors. You just need better voices in your mind. Because when you surround yourself with wealth and thinking, you're creating the conditions to grow wealth in reality. Just remember this. If you want to build wealth, choose carefully who walks that road with you. We've talked a lot about the power of mindset, the strength of vision, and the importance of the people you surround yourself with on this journey to building real wealth. Up until now, everything we've covered has centered around things you can control, your inner world, your habits, your decisions. But there's one more piece, one that often gets overlooked. And yet, it holds the power to completely shift your entire financial game. It's this, where you choose to place responsibility. From blame to ownership, you are the architect of your life. Have you ever heard someone say, or maybe you've said it yourself, if the economy was better, I'd be doing okay. Or, if my boss just gave me a raise, I wouldn't be struggling. Or, if my parents had more money, my life would be different. I get it. I've been there too. I used to be stuck in that same trap, blaming everything outside of me. That's what a poverty mindset does. It constantly points fingers at the economy, taxes, the government, your boss, your past. And yes, those things might influence your path, but they do not determine your outcome. Unless you let them. I remember a time when I was just angry. Angry at the system. Angry at the world. Frustrated watching other people seem to move ahead while I stayed stuck. I'd say things like, if only the company paid me more. If only everything wasn't so expensive. But that mindset only made everything worse. It kept me spinning in circles, trapped in a loop of frustration and helplessness. And then one day, I heard a phrase that hit me like a lightning bolt. You can't hire someone else to do your push-ups for you. That woke me up. It didn't matter who was running the country, or what the market was doing. I was still responsible for how I responded. And that's when I learned. Responsibility is where your power begins. When you take ownership of your results, even the things that aren't your fault, you instantly take your power back. Blame is a fake comfort zone. It gives you somewhere to hide, a reason not to face the truth. But ownership? That's where growth happens. That's how you put your future back in your own hands. The truly wealthy get this. They don't wait for better circumstances. They become better. They ask better questions. What can I do? What skills do I need to learn? How can I adapt, lead, and turn this around? They stop waiting for better leaders. And they become the leader. The moment you say, this is my problem, and I'm going to solve it, everything changes. You move from being a victim to being an architect. You stop reacting. And start designing. And guess what? Wealth is built by design. It doesn't fall into your lap. It's something you build, brick by brick, thought by thought, habit by habit. You'll know you've stepped into ownership when your language changes. You stop saying, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what can I learn from this? You stop saying, I can't afford that. And instead ask, how can I afford that? These small shifts in language reshape your entire brain. They refocus your attention. They activate your creativity and your resourcefulness. And let me tell you, resourcefulness is more powerful than any paycheck. I've seen people rise up from zero. No savings. No connections. No advantage. But they took ownership. They learned. They adapted. They grew. And I've also seen people with every opportunity imaginable. But they stayed stuck because they kept blaming the world. The difference wasn't in their background. It was in their mindset. So, if you're tired of your financial situation, Stop looking outward. Start looking inward. Don't wait for someone to come fix your life. Pick up the pen and start writing the next chapter yourself. Even if you didn't cause the problem, you can still be the one who creates the solution. That's the moment you stop surviving and start building. That's the moment your journey to true wealth really begins. You see, all the things we've talked about so far are the foundation. But once you've laid that foundation, it's time to start building. And this is one of the most important bricks in that structure. It's a lesson I wish I had learned much earlier in my financial journey. The power of investing. Start early. Stay consistent. Be smart. Let your money work for you. Have you ever heard the story of compound interest? It's often described as the eighth wonder of the world. Even Albert Einstein supposedly said that. But here's the thing, most people don't fully understand how it works. They think you need a lot of money to start investing. That investing is only for millionaires, or people who already have wealth. Have you ever thought that way? That you need to wait until you've saved up a big chunk of cash before you can begin investing? If so, I'm here to tell you, that's one of the biggest myths out there. And it's holding a lot of people back from building real wealth. I remember when I first started. I didn't have much money. The word investing sounded like something out of a fairy tale, something for other people. I thought I needed thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars before I could even consider putting money anywhere. And I was scared. Scared of losing it. Scared I didn't understand the market. Scared I'd mess it up and waste the little I had. But then one of my mentors said something that stuck with me for life. Don't wait until you have a lot of money to start investing. Even small, consistent amounts can grow into serious wealth, thanks to the power of compound interest. Let's imagine this for a second. You have a tiny seed in your hand. If you just keep it in your pocket, it'll stay a seed forever. But if you plant it in the ground, water it every day, give it sunlight, what happens? Eventually it sprouts. It grows. It becomes a tree. And that tree may go on to produce more seeds and even more trees. Investing is just like that. You don't need a huge amount of money to start. What matters is that you begin, now. Even $10, $20 a week, or $50 a month. Those small amounts, invested consistently, will grow over time. Because your returns begin earning returns. Your money doesn't just sit there, it starts working for you. That's the magic of compound interest. And over time, your small contributions, along with reinvested profits, turn into a financial snowball. One that gets bigger and faster the longer it rolls. When I started investing, I started small. Just a few dollars here and there into index funds. I didn't understand everything, and yes, I was still a little nervous. But I stayed consistent. Any time I had a little extra cash, I treated investing like a must, not a maybe. It became part of my budget, just like rent or electricity. Here's the key. Keep learning. The financial world is always evolving. And there are so many ways to make your money work for you: stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, real estate, or even investing in your own business. You don't need a PhD in finance to get started. All you need is to commit to learning a little bit every week. Read a book. Listen to a podcast. Watch an educational video. Knowledge is power. And what's the ultimate goal? It's to build a life where your money works, even when you don't. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from knowing your money is growing while you're on vacation, spending time with family, or even sleeping. That's real financial freedom. So let me ask you, is your money just sitting in a low-interest savings account? Or is it working hard to build your future? Remember this. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Don't wait any longer. Start small. Stay consistent. And never stop learning. Because that is how you build real wealth. And create the financial freedom you've always dreamed of. We've talked a lot about building a strong foundation for wealth. From mindset and vision to the power of starting early with investing. But now I want to talk to you about one single element that can silently destroy all your progress, if you don't master it. And that is financial discipline. Mastering your money with discipline. The gatekeeper of wealth. Let me ask you something. Do you agree that earning money is only half the story? There are a lot of people out there earning great salaries, solid jobs, high incomes. And yet they're still living paycheck to paycheck. Still drowning in debt. Still feeling financially insecure. Why? Because the second half of the story is what makes all the difference. Keeping your money. Growing your money. Using it wisely. I've seen people with dream-level incomes, yet their bank accounts felt like sieves. The money just disappears. They ask themselves, where did all my money go? The problem is this. Lifestyle leaks are like financial termites. They don't knock down the whole house at once. They quietly eat away at the foundation while you're not paying attention. It could be that subscription you forgot to cancel. That third coffee of the day. Or eating out 5 times a week instead of 1. Little by little, drip by drip, month after month, year after year. Until suddenly, you feel drained and ask, where did it all go? And that's where discipline comes in. But hear me clearly. Financial discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. It's not saying no to everything. It's saying yes to the right things. It's saying yes to your future. Most people spend emotionally and save sporadically. The wealthy? They spend with purpose and save with a plan. I still remember when I got serious about managing my money. I made a decision to treat my finances with the same respect I gave my time. So I made a rule. Track every dollar. Not just the big stuff. Every dollar. Because how you handle $1 is how you'll handle 10,000. I started building financial habits the same way I'd build a morning routine or a gym habit. Every Sunday night, I sat down with my journal. I looked at every dollar in and out. And I asked myself one simple question. Am I getting closer to my goals, or further away? Because here's the truth. You don't drift into wealth. You drift into debt. Wealth requires direction. And direction requires a dashboard. I started using whiteboards and simple tracking apps. Not because they were trendy, but because they made my goals visible. When your vision is staring you in the face every morning, your spending starts to fall in line with it. It's hard to blow money on nonsense when your freedom is staring you down from the wall. One key shift? Automation. I didn't want to rely on willpower to save money. So I set up automatic transfers. 10% of my paycheck straight into savings. Another 10% into investments. The rest? That's what I lived on. That one decision removed all the friction. It made discipline effortless. It turned my goals into defaults. Most people try to save after spending. That never works. The secret? Flip the order. Save first. Spend what's left. Another major turning point. I stopped spending based on emotion. I started pausing before I bought anything and asking, is this purchase feeding my future, or stealing from it? That one little question saved me thousands. The rush of buying fades fast. But the peace of financial progress? That stays. And here's something I want you to remember. Ritual beats motivation. Motivation is a feeling, it comes and goes. But ritual? That's structure. That's consistency. If you carve out just one moment each week to review your goals, track your habits, and make intentional decisions, you don't need inspiration. You'll have momentum. And momentum is what builds wealth. Wealth is momentum applied to money over time. You build it the way you build strength in the gym. Repeat. Resist temptation. Stick to your routine. So if your finances feel chaotic right now, that's not a sign to go make more money. It's a sign to become more disciplined. Set a weekly money review. Automate your savings. Use visual reminders. Track your habits. Replace emotion with intention. Because over time, small disciplines become massive results. That's the real magic of wealth. It's not in the big wins. It's in the consistent ones. Invest in yourself first, the highest yielding asset of all. We've walked a long way together on this journey. From breaking free of fear, building discipline, to learning how to make money work for you. And by now, you can probably see that everything is connected. But there's one investment. One asset more powerful than any stock, real estate, or startup. That will ultimately decide your income ceiling. That asset is you. Upgrade your value through continuous learning. The path to true wealth ****. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to get stuck at a certain income level, while others keep growing? Leap after leap, year after year? I've seen this play out countless times. And here's the truth I've come to believe without a doubt. Your income rarely outgrows your personal growth. Sounds simple, right? But most people ignore this. They think having a job and clocking in and out is enough. But here's the truth. A job pays you for what you do. Life pays you for who you become. And who you become is shaped by what you consistently choose to learn. When I first started, I wasn't just broke financially. I was broke mentally. My ideas were small. My thinking was limited. I had never even been exposed to real wealth principles. I had just enough to cover the bills, nothing more. Until one day, someone handed me a personal finance book and said, "Read this, it might change the way you think." I was skeptical. But I read it. And it felt like someone had opened a window in a pitch-black room. Suddenly, I could see possibilities I'd never imagined. I learned a powerful truth. Most people stay broke, not because they lack money, but because they stop investing in the one thing that multiplies everything else: themselves. Let's be clear. The most powerful investment you'll ever make is not in stocks or real estate, but in your mind. Books, workshops, online courses, mentorship. These aren't luxuries. These are essentials. And you don't need to be rich to start. You just need a burning desire to grow. The moment I started feeding my mind, my bank accounts slowly began to catch up. Not overnight, but steadily. Because wealth walks hand in hand with wisdom. If you want to earn more, become worth more. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to sell. Learn critical thinking. Learn how to manage time. How to lead. How to invest. I've seen janitors become entrepreneurs. I've watched factory workers become millionaires. Not because they had better starts, but because they built better skills, developed stronger habits, and adopted the mindset of someone who could handle wealth. You want to know the real difference between the rich and the poor? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's daily discipline. Especially the discipline to learn when no one's watching. You think successful people stop reading once they make it? No. They double down. They seek mentors. They attend seminars. They ask better questions. They study. They stay curious. Because the moment you stop learning, you start shrinking. And you can't grow your income if your thinking is shrinking. The poor mindset says, "I don't have time to read." The wealthy mindset says, "I don't have time not to." The poor mindset says, "I already know enough." The wealthy mindset says, "What more can I learn?" See the difference? One mindset shuts down. The other stays open. And that curiosity, that hunger to expand, is the engine behind all real growth. So if you want to build wealth, not just money, but options, freedom, and peace of mind, then make personal growth non-negotiable. Read 10 pages a day. Listen to podcasts during your commute. Attend a live workshop every quarter. Find someone 10 steps ahead of you and study their mistakes. Take notes. Ask better questions. Because the quality of your learning will always determine the quality of your earning. If your bank account feels stuck, the first thing to check isn't your job. It's your growth curve. Are you becoming more valuable every month? If not, start today. Feed your mind. Sharpen your skills. Elevate your thinking. and watch your income rise. To meet the new version of you. Track every dollar, shine a light on your financial future. We've talked a lot about powerful ideas. From transforming beliefs and building discipline, to investing in yourself. But now, I want to share something that sounds simple. Maybe even boring. Yet it is one of the most powerful habits you can adopt immediately. And it could change the entire way you relate to money. It's this. Track every dollar. Where did all my money go? Have you ever found yourself asking, where did all my money go? You just got paid, and yet, a few weeks later, your account is nearly empty. You're not alone. Most people have felt this way at some point. And here's the truth. Money doesn't just disappear. It leaks. Little by little. Unnoticed. That's where tracking comes in. It may seem tedious or unnecessary. But let me tell you, not tracking your money is like driving in the dark with your headlights off. You don't know where you're going. And you won't even see the crash coming. Become the CEO of your finances. I always tell people, manage your money like a business. You don't need to run a company to think like a CEO. Because you already are one. The CEO of your life. And no business can succeed without a clear understanding of its cash flow. If you don't know where your money is going, you can't control it. Think of your income as money flowing in, and your spending as money flowing out. If you don't measure either flow, you can't optimize anything. I remember when I started my own financial transformation. I had no idea where my money was going. It just vanished. So I got serious. I didn't start with fancy software or a private accountant. Just a notebook and a pen. Every time I spent money on a $5 coffee or a $100 bill, I wrote it down. Simple, but incredibly powerful. Data creates power. After just a few weeks, I began to see patterns. I realized I was spending too much eating out. I noticed subscriptions I wasn't even using. I saw the holes where my money was leaking. And suddenly, I had data, not just guesses. With that data, I made changes. I started brewing coffee at home. Cancelled unnecessary services. Set daily and weekly limits. And those small changes, done consistently, made a huge difference over time. Your system doesn't have to be fancy. You can use a budgeting app, a Google spreadsheet, or even a simple notebook, like I did. What matters is consistency and clarity. When every dollar is accounted for, you stop being a financial victim and start becoming a financial leader. I've seen so many people say, I've tried everything to make more money. But here's the thing. It's not just about how much you earn. It's about how well you manage what you earn. Money is like a child. If left unsupervised, it'll wander off. If you don't track it, you won't know where it went. And you won't know what it's really doing. Awareness equals power. Awareness is the first step to transformation. When you start tracking your money, you get a 360-degree view of your finances. You can clearly see where you are and where you need to go. And this clarity reduces stress. It gives you peace of mind. Because now you know. No more guessing. No more anxiety. You're back in control. So here's my challenge to you. Starting today, track every dollar. Manage your money like it's your most important business, because it is. This single habit could be the game changer you've been looking for. Because clarity breeds confidence. And confidence creates wealth. This is how you take back control. This is how you build the life you've dreamed of. $1 at a time. Set clear, measurable goals, the map to your financial freedom. Now that you understand how money works, and you've begun to take control of it, we need to talk about where you're going. Because if you have a great car, a full tank of gas, but no destination, you'll just keep driving in circles. Vague goals create vague results. Let's be honest. Most people live with vague intentions. They say things like, I want to be rich. I want more money. I want to get out of debt. And those are good starting points. But they're not goals. They're wishes without structure. Here's a hard truth I've learned. Vagueness is the enemy of success. You wouldn't build a house without blueprints, right? You need to know how many rooms, what size, what materials. So why are we trying to build wealth? Without a financial blueprint? The power of defining your goals. For a long time, I was like a ship without a rudder. I worked hard, very hard. But I had no direction. No strategy. No clarity. My finances felt like a gamble. Not a plan. That all changed when I discovered the power of goal setting. Start small, then dream big. Let's keep it simple. Begin with a short-term goal, 90 days. I will save $1,000 in the next 90 days. I will pay off $500 in credit card debt. I will earn an extra $200 from my side hustle. Make your goals smart. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Then move to a 1-year goal. I'll build a $5,000 emergency fund. I'll reduce my student loan debt to $X. I'll earn $1,000 per month in passive income. Then go big, your 5-year vision. I will have $50,000 invested in the stock market. I will own my home debt-free. My business will generate $150,000 per year, and I'll take 3 months off to travel with my family. Be specific. Clarity unlocks power. Never say, I want more money. Instead say, I want to earn $150,000 per year from my business. I want to invest $50,000 by age 40. Why? Because your brain can't chase what it can't define. Clarity gives it a target. And when your brain has a target, it starts finding paths. Write it every day. Here's one of the best habits I've ever built. Write down your goals every single day. Not paragraphs. Just a few key sentences. The repetition keeps your focus sharp. It keeps your mind locked on the outcome. It's like checking your GPS every morning. You remember where you're headed. And every week, take 10 to 15 minutes to review your progress. Are you moving forward? What needs to be adjusted? What obstacles popped up? This weekly reflection keeps you on course and helps you pivot when needed. Without a map, you're just drifting. Do you feel like a ship adrift in the sea of life? You work hard, but don't know where you're going. That's because desire without a plan is just frustration waiting to happen. A man without a plan is like a ship without a rudder, lost at sea, at the mercy of every wave. I've seen so many hardworking people stay stuck. Not because they're lazy, but because they lack a roadmap. On the other hand, people with clear goals, even those starting with less, often go farther, faster. Why? Because they know where they're going. Your dream life needs a blueprint. So don't wait another day. Sit down and draw your financial map. Set clear, measurable goals. Commit to reviewing them. And begin building the life you dream of. Step by step, goal by goal. Because wealth is not an accident. It's a destination. And you need a map to get there. Build multiple streams of income, the lifeblood of financial freedom. Let me share with you a powerful secret. One that doesn't just build wealth, but brings stability and freedom to your financial life. It's this. Develop multiple streams of income. Relying on one income is risky. Have you ever felt like you're relying too heavily on just one thing, like your job? If you only have one source of income, you're like a boat with just one paddle. And what happens if that paddle breaks? Too often I've seen people struggle. Not because they were lazy, but because they were vulnerable. They lost their job. Their hours got cut. The company downsized. And suddenly, their entire financial life came crashing down. Look, I'm not against having a job. A good job can be a fantastic starting point. But it should never be your final plan. The moment you depend solely on one paycheck, you've already placed limits on your potential and locked the door on financial freedom. Wealth comes from expansion, not just accumulation. Real wealth doesn't come from just working harder at one job. It comes from expanding what you offer the world. You have more inside you than just your job title. You have knowledge, skills, life experience, even your story. And the world pays very well when you know how to package and share your value in multiple ways, to multiple people, again and again. The wake-up moment. I used to believe that if I just worked harder and longer at my job, I'd break through financially. But I was stuck in single-stream thinking. Then someone asked me, "What else can you offer the market besides your working hours?" That question changed everything. I started teaching what I knew. I began creating content. I started helping people solve problems. And slowly, those tiny side efforts turned into small income streams. Then, small income streams turned into micro businesses. Not overnight, but over time. Because I refused to make one paycheck my entire plan. Start with what you already know. You don't need $1 million idea. You just need to look at what you already know. Are you good with numbers? Tutor someone. Got sales experience? Teach others how to sell. Can you bake? Write? Organize? Fix? Coach? Motivate? Someone out there needs exactly that. The market doesn't pay you for effort. It pays you for solving problems. So ask yourself, what problem am I solving outside my 9 to 5? Use your evenings and weekends wisely. Your nights and weekends? They're your secret weapon. Not just for resting, but for reinventing yourself. You don't have to quit your job to build a second stream of income. You just need to stop wasting your after hours. Instead of 3 hours of Netflix, try 3 hours of creation. Write something. Start something. Serve someone. The goal isn't to stay busy. It's to become productive across more areas of life. Short-term sacrifice versus long-term freedom. You might say, "But I'm tired after work." I get it. But ask yourself, what's more exhausting? Working 40 years at one income that barely covers your bills? Or pushing yourself for a few extra months to build a second income that could change everything? One sacrifices comfort for a season. The other sacrifices freedom forever. Even small streams change your identity. And here's the beautiful part. Once your second stream of income starts flowing, even just a little, it will change your mindset forever. You'll no longer feel like a prisoner of your paycheck. You'll feel like a producer in the marketplace. Systems over luck. And the best part? When you multiply your income streams, you multiply your resilience. If one dries up, another keeps flowing. If one season is slow, you adapt. Wealthy people don't rely on luck. They build systems. And one of the most powerful systems of all is having money flowing in, even while you sleep. Time to expand. So if you're serious about stepping into financial strength, don't just work harder. Work smarter. Build something beyond your 9 to 5. Leverage what you know. Diversify how you earn. And never again let a single paycheck define your financial future. Practice generosity, the source of infinite abundance. We've explored many of the powerful secrets on the journey to wealth. Shifting your mindset, mastering discipline, making smart investments, and building multiple income streams. You see, all of these pieces connect to form a strong financial foundation and a life that matters. But now, I want to share something with you that might surprise you. It's a piece of the wealth puzzle that often gets overlooked. It might even sound counterintuitive, especially when we're talking about accumulating assets. But here it is. True wealth begins with generosity. The paradox of prosperity. Most people believe that when it comes to money, you have to hold on tight. Save more. Keep more. Protect what's yours. And sure, that's what we're taught. Save. Be cautious. Accumulate. But here's the paradox. Sometimes, to receive more, you have to give first. I know, it sounds crazy, right? especially when you're still trying to get your finances together. You might be thinking, I don't even have enough for myself, how can I give to others? But this is one of the most powerful truths I've learned from the truly wealthy. Not just rich in money, but rich in life. Giving changes you first. Generosity isn't just a good deed. It's a transformational habit. It changes your relationship with money. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. When you give, you send a bold message to your subconscious, to the universe. I believe there's more than enough. I live in a world of plenty. I don't fear lack, I choose faith and flow. I used to think, I'll give more when I have more. But I've since learned, that's a trap. Generosity is not something you start when you're rich. It's what makes you rich in the first place. I started small, just 1% of what I earned. A few dollars here and there. But that simple act shifted everything. I no longer felt like a victim of lack. I felt like a creator, someone who had the power to give. Generosity unlocks unexpected doors. Here's the magic. When you move from, I have to hold on to everything, to, I can afford to share, the world responds. Opportunities show up. People are drawn to your energy. New doors open where you least expect. It's like a river. If you try to dam the water, it becomes stagnant. But when you let it flow, it nourishes everything in its path. And more water always finds its way in. I've seen it time and time again. One friend of mine, she ran a small business. And every month, she donated a small percentage to a local cause. Not for recognition. Not to get something. But guess what? New connections. Surprising partnerships. Unexpected growth. People wanted to work with her because they could feel her heart. Generosity is magnetic. Make wealth meaningful. Generosity gives your money purpose. And purpose is what makes wealth truly fulfilling. Money by itself won't make you happy. But money used to create change. To uplift others. To contribute to something bigger than yourself. That's when money becomes meaningful. Without generosity, wealth can feel like a burden. With it, wealth becomes a blessing. The final piece of the puzzle. Maybe you've felt anxious about money. Maybe it's felt heavy. Maybe you've been trying to control it all. And still feel like it's slipping through your fingers. The truth is, you might just be missing this one piece. Giving. The truly wealthy don't just accumulate. They circulate. They don't hoard. They share. Because they understand. Wealth is not something you cling to. It's something you create, and then pass on. Your challenge, start giving, even if it's small. So I challenge you. Right here, right now. To build generosity into your financial life. Even if it's just 1%. Even if it's just a few dollars. Even if it's just your time or attention. Don't give to get something back. Give because you believe in abundance. Because you trust there is enough. Because you want to live a life that matters. Because that is the path to lasting wealth. Not just financial wealth. But spiritual wealth. Emotional wealth. And a legacy that outlives you. Dear friends, the journey to wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires a shift in mindset and consistent, intentional action. So let me ask you, what step will you take today to move closer to the financial future you truly deserve? Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I look forward to seeing you in our next conversation. In the next video, we'll uncover more powerful secrets to help you build wealth and purpose. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss what's coming next. Until then, stay focused, stay inspired, and I'll see you soon.